Well, it sounds almost unbelievable, but Donald Trump blamed hummus, the chickpea dip, for the attack on Israel. It sounds fake, but Donald Trump, as is often the case with that teleprompter, we're cutting right to the most insane moment of a series of speeches that Donald Trump gave in Iowa over the weekend. Trump doesn't recognize the word Hamas on his teleprompter, and he calls it hummus.
What about today? The Hamas terrorist invasion. I mean, when you think about, and what do you think of Hamas? What do you think? Do you know about Hamas?
Right. Some guy in the crowd yells, "Get rid of it!" He likes bean dip better, far less healthy, by the way. Terrible dip. I'm for hummus all the way. Trump's brain has become hummus at this point. And Trump not wasting the opportunity at one of these speeches, these in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, another one in Waterloo, Iowa, Trump saying nobody loves Israel more than the evangelical Christians.
And nobody loves Israel more than the evangelical Christians, I will tell you that.
Now, one thing I can tell you as a progressive Jew is that the love that evangelicals have for Israel is not particularly welcome by most progressive Jews. The love that evangelicals have for Israel is usually through some half-baked prophecy about how by supporting Israel, it will bring upon the return of Jesus and all sorts. I think there's a rapture, and I believe the Jews get killed in most of the versions of it. I say no thank you. I say no thank you to the evangelical Christians on this one. Trump, still in Cedar Rapids, refers to General Mark Milley as stupid in one of this bonkers, harebrained Sir stories.
We take every little tent, we take all the big tents, we take the army tanks, the planes, we take everything. And I had a couple of guys, like this guy Milley, what a stupid person he is. Milley, no, he's a stupid. Sir, he said to me, it's cheaper to leave the equipment than it is to take it. We take every little tent.
There you go. Now, whether the Sir story actually happened or not, what we know is that one of the authoritarian nightmare things that Donald Trump has done in recent weeks is to suggest that Mark Milley, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, should have been or should be executed for treason, that would be an appropriate punishment for Mark Milley. This is an authoritarian nightmare. Trump continuing to insist that he doesn't get a jury. He doesn't get a jury. He didn't ask for a jury, is what he should be saying.
The one in Georgia, how about that phony one? How about the one in New York? She values Mar-a-Lago at $18 million, and she convinces a judge. Now, you don't know what Mar-a-Lago is, but you sort of do. So some people say it's worth 100 times that number. She values it at $18 million. And I said,
Mar-a-Lago is not worth $1.8 billion.
there's something wrong here. And everybody said that. And it's probably could be $1 billion, $1.5 billion, could be more than that. So it could be 100 times that amount. These are crooked people. This is election interference. These are very dishonest people. And she has a judge who's a radical left judge, and and I don't get a jury. So even if I had a tough jury, I'd win. But I'm not allowed to have a jury. Nothing to do with checking a box. You know what that, they're all saying, oh, the lawyer. No, you can't check a box. There's no box in there. They did it under a Consumer Frauds Act. Can you believe this? Where I did everything right, built this great company, and now they find out that the company's worth much more than.
There you go.
I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Right. Really no other way to say it. It took a stranger turn in Waterloo, Iowa, at these tandem speeches that Trump gave, when he said that he has a better body than Joe Biden. This is, it's getting sad.
He's got a consultant somewhere. This is the worst consultant in politics that thinks he looks good in a bathing suit, right? No, he spends so much time at the beach. And, how do you do that? And, I have a much better body than him. But I'm not really sure that I want to expose it with the sun blaring down and a
Remember that Trump is obese and doesn't exercise and is at risk of death to a higher degree than Biden, based on an actuarial analysis that was done. Donald Trump claims to still talk to his wife, which is pretty damn hard to believe based on what's been reported. But here is Trump saying that Melania isn't big on Trump's dances at the end of his speeches, and she's not big on that weightlifting, the trans weightlifting sort of routine mimicry that Trump does, which, I mean, that may be true. Melania might find both of those things vile.
Because, you know, my wife, I have a wonderful wife, the great first lady who's very popular. She says to me, darling, I don't like when you do the weightlifting thing or even the swimming thing because it doesn't look presidential.
That, as if everything else Trump does is presidential.
I said, let me tell you, it's much easier to look presidential than it is to do the shtick that I have to do at these places. And this is why we have, and she doesn't like when I dance a little bit going off, you know?
Trump actually seems to see his ridiculous behavior as shtick and that he has to do it. What's fascinating about that is it's once again an insight into Trump's mind. He doesn't want to be around the people that go to his rallies. He doesn't even really seem to want to perform in the way that he's performing, but he apparently believes he has to do it because this is the level that his followers are operating on. He has to pretend to lift weights as a trans weightlifter. He has to dance. He doesn't want to dance, actually. Trump is, in a sense, performing as he sees it down to his supporters. And that only coincides with everything we know about Trump. He spent most of his life trying to be kept away from the very people that now are his supporters. Okay, last thing here. Trump tells yet another one of these Sir stories, this one in Waterloo.
And you wouldn't be having all the problems that you have right now with China. China's become very hostile. They weren't hostile with me. They weren't hostile with me. They called me Sir. They don't call him Sir. And you wouldn't be having all the problems that you have right now with China. China's become very hostile.
There you go. I mean, I don't know why on earth Trump thinks they don't call Biden Sir. Maybe they call him Mr. President. I don't know. So a package of unhinged Iowa rallies, Trump in command of the Republican primary in Iowa for sure. And at a certain point, you start to wonder, is Trump just doing these rallies in order to take his mind off of the insanity of what he is facing when it comes to criminal and civil trials? I don't know the answer. There's new reason for MAGA panic, though, and it is called RFK Jr. Let's talk about that next. I've had such trouble finding a great razor where I am not cutting myself or getting those nicks on my skin, which are so common with the cheap disposable razors. You have to meet our sponsor, Henson Shaving. Henson actually manufactures parts for the International Space Station and the Mars rover. And they are bringing that exact same precision engineering to the shaving experience. It hurts when you shave because blades extend too far and thus they wobble slightly. But with their aerospace grade CNC machines, Henson is able to make metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches. That's less than the thickness of a human hair, which means a secure, stable blade with the vibration-free shave. It also has built-in channels to evacuate the hair and the cream. No more clogs, no more rubbing your thumb on the razor to get the hair out. I use Henson at home. Shaving is a great experience now. Henson wants to be the best razor, not the best razor business, which means you only need to buy it once and it's awesome. Go to hensonshaving.com/Pacman. Add a razor and a 100-pack of blades to your cart, then enter the code Pacman to get the 100 blades for free. That is a 3-year supply. The link is down below.